Stream is live. And 3, 2, 1.
Warning. What you're about to listen to may not be politically correct.
William Jones, Adam Holmes. You're listening to the Jones and Holmes Show.
Friday, July 20th, 2018, Jones and Holmes Show, episode number 26.
26.
And we have a guest with us tonight. Who do we have?
We got Don Vito with us tonight.
Hello.
All right.
Was that my cue?
Yeah.
That's your cue. So we got Don Vito with us tonight, and we're talking about last week's events and what a bunch of crazy events we've had.
Yeah.
Trump has been over in Russia. Well, no, not Russia. He was in, where was he? The summit was in
Helsinki.
So Trump was in Helsinki meeting with Putin. And I'm trying to find the first clip that we have. We've had
He went to, was it the NATO summit?
Well, he had the NATO summit first. We talked about that last time. He went in and said that everybody's pretty much beholden. That was a pretty good one. Let me find that last clip that I just had, and then it disappeared again. But that that Germany was pretty much beholden to Russia because of the pipeline deals that they've had going on. It was really interesting. So let's see. Here we go. Here's kind of a quick little rundown. This is Al Jazeera.
Face to face ahead of a solo meeting, a meeting that lasted over 2.5 hours. But if you were hoping they would solve any of the world's problems, you'll be sorely disappointed. Instead, when they spoke to reporters, their comments were dominated by their views on the most toxic political issue in the US, an issue that just got more controversial as they seemed mainly to agree on it.
During today's meeting, I addressed directly with President Putin the issue of Russian interference in our elections. I felt this was a message best delivered in person. Spent a great deal of time talking about it, and President Putin may very well want to address it, and very strongly, because he feels very strongly about it, and he has an interesting idea.
Putin then explained that idea. He could get Russian authorities to interview the 12 hackers, even though the allegation is they were working on behalf of those same authorities. Or, he said, they could set up a joint US-Russian investigation team with one condition.
This kind of effort should be a mutual one. Then we would expect that the Americans would reciprocate, and they would question officials, including the officers of law enforcement and intelligence services of the United States, whom we believe who have something to do with illegal actions on the territory of Russia.
Trump called that an incredible offer. He was then asked a straight question.
Every U.S. intelligence agency has concluded that Russia did. My first question for you, sir, is who do you believe?
Remarkably, he answered by switching to a completely different subject, which is not part of the investigation, Hillary Clinton's emails.
What happened to Hillary Clinton's emails? 33,000 emails, gone, just gone. I think in Russia they wouldn't be gone so easily.
22 months after the election, he still seems determined to reaffirm the legitimacy of his win.
I beat Hillary Clinton easily. The Electoral College is much more advantageous for Democrats, as you know, than it is to Republicans. We won the Electoral College by a lot.
One last question was simple, yet important.
President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election?
Yes, I did, because he talked about bringing the US-Russia relationship back to normal.
I've lost count of the number of times over the last 18 months that I've described comments by President Trump as extraordinary. But this, what was supposed to be a summit between the two most powerful leaders in the world, has taken things to a new level. The president may have been trying to robustly make his case about the 2016 election, but there seems little doubt that he's only made matters worse for himself. James Bays, Al Jazeera, Helsinki.
So this little trip has caused the media to absolutely lose their minds.
Yes, they are. And so they've just gone nuts. I mean, even some of them calling Trump. I wonder if we can find like a rundown real quick where they call
traitor.
Yeah, they're calling him a traitor.
Yeah.
Because
meanwhile, I think he should go golfing for 2 weeks with Putin. I think that'll put them through the walls.
Here's let's just see. We'll take a little bit of this until we can't stand it anymore.
The ripple effects from President Trump's remarks in Helsinki.
Brennan said that President Trump's press conference in Helsinki, quote, rises to and exceeds the threshold of high crimes and misdemeanors, unquote, and, quote, was nothing short of treasonous, unquote. Do you agree with Brennan that Trump's actions were treasonous?
I do not.
Well, John Brennan's tweet is no small thing, and here to discuss this, CNN Global Affairs analyst Max Boot and Ian Bremmer.
So John Brennan, former CIA director, is the one who said it was treasonous.
Yeah, he's a Muslim.
And didn't he vote for a communist?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So at one point in time, John Brennan voted for a communist, and he's the one that's saying that Trump is a traitor. So
get him out of here.
Trump made a statement. Oh, look, here it is. Here we go. Here's Brennan. This is Brennan.
In other news, the White House says planning is underway for another meeting between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin this fall in Washington. This comes as President Obama's Secretary of State John Kerry is denouncing this week's Helsinki summit as indefensible.
John Kerry spoke with Face the Nation moderator and CBS News senior foreign affairs correspondent Margaret Brennan.
What does John Kerry have to do with anything now?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I think him and Mueller are related.
And you know what's interesting? Look at the on YouTube now.
That's only insect bastard.
What is? You see that underneath the video?
What is it?
Right under the video on the YouTube video.
Oh, what's it say?
Barack Obama is the first African American to hold the office of the United States presidency before winning a whole little article.
Whoa, what is that? Is weird.
It's interesting, isn't it? And he's
What's
back.
This it's all about Obama down there.
Yeah, it's like an encyclopedia entry on Obama. Let's go back. Let's see what Kerry has to say
about his upcoming book. Every Day is Extra. Margaret asked him about
his upcoming book.
Monday's Trump-Putin news conference.
I found it shocking. I found it to be one of the most disgraceful, remarkable moments of kowtowing to a foreign leader by an American president that anyone has ever witnessed. And it wasn't just that it was a kind of surrender, it's that it is dangerous. The president stood there and did not defend our country. He stood there and did not defend the truth. He did not defend the facts.
What do you think he's using those binoculars for in the background there?
Kerry has binoculars back there?
Yeah, watch when they flip the camera back to him.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Where?
Right there.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
He's out looking for little kids. Oh, allegedly. Allegedly.
He could be.
The message to President Putin and to the rest of the world that the President of the United States, the leader of the free world, really doesn't have a handle on what he's doing. And that he doesn't, know either what the facts are or he won't accept the facts.
So you don't buy his walk back?
I don't buy his walk back 1 second. And by the way, how can...
Margaret Brennan is with us from Washington. Good morning, Margaret.
Good morning.
So his walk back. So this isn't Brennan, the former CIA director. This is her.
Yeah.
Who's also named Brennan. His walk back was, let's see, this clip here where Trump says that he should have said wouldn't instead of would. And this kind of explains it.
I came back and I said, what is going on? What's the big deal? So I got a transcript. I reviewed it. I actually went out and reviewed a clip of an answer that I gave. And I realized that there is a need for some clarification. It should have been obvious. I thought it would be obvious, but I would like to clarify just in case it wasn't. In a key sentence in my remarks, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. the sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't, or why it wouldn't be Russia. So just to repeat it, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. And the sentence should have been, and I thought it would be maybe a little bit unclear on the transcript or unclear on the actual video. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia. Sort of a double negative. So you can put that in, and I think that probably clarifies things pretty good by itself.
So Trump says he used the wrong word.
Who cares? He's meeting with the Russian president. So
yeah,
and if you think back to the debates between Trump and Hillary, Hillary was like ready to go to war with Russia.
Right. And that's what she wanted. She was ready to go to war. And didn't Putin say something about if Hillary Clinton was elected, it would be war?
Yeah.
Now, this was something that Trump said that nobody is talking about. Like in all these clips, you don't hear this part. But in the press conference, and it's, we looked on YouTube. I spent about 10 minutes digging around trying to find an isolated clip of this and just could not find it because they don't want you to hear it. But Trump said, I would rather take a political risk in pursuit of peace than to risk peace in pursuit of politics. Meet with Putin and just punch him in the face and pull out a gun and shoot him?
That probably wouldn't be too good of a thing to do because I'm pretty sure Putin's like a jiu-jitsu guy.
They probably want to revoke his voter registration.
But it is like they just, whatever Trump does is going to be wrong. And what's scary is how much manipulation and effect the mainstream media has on the American public and persuading them.
Think about what a big deal it was that he went to North Korea. How come we don't hear about that anymore?
Because it worked.
Yeah, well, right, exactly, it worked. But the media, they're not out, hey, he needs to get the Nobel Peace Prize.
No.
But
I hope he don't take it if he gets it.
No?
It's been denigrated.
Because of Obama taking it?
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's anything worth getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Personally.
Now here's the intelligence community
reacting, boy.
Which is basically, did you see that article? I sent you a headline. Let me see if I can find that headline.
Oh, yeah, the one where they were making it pretty obvious.
Yeah, so this was a headline yesterday. Let me see if I can find this. Oh, here it is. Vanity Fair headline.
Yeah.
Quote, this was from yesterday. So this would have been July the 19th. There is a reason we tried to kill this. That's in quotes. It said, after Helsinki, the deep state fears Trump cannot be saved. Look, I was like, they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Yeah.
The deep state is afraid they can't control Trump. And there's a headline from Vanity Fair just saying, yeah, deep state doesn't think they can save him. So here's the intelligence community shocked by Trump's Russia comments, CBS.
Well, despite President Trump's attempt at clarifying his statements on Russian election meddling yesterday, questions remain about his views on the issue and how they could undermine the U.S. intelligence community. The president said on Twitter earlier today that his critics hate the fact that he got along well with Vladimir Putin, and he blamed their views on, quote, Trump derangement syndrome. CBS News senior national security analyst Fran Townsend joins me now. She was Homeland Security and Counterterrorism Advisor to President George W. Bush. Thank you so much for joining us, Fran. You heard the president yesterday clarify and reiterate, he says that he said this many times before, that he accepts the findings of the intelligence community that Russia meddled in the 2016 election. But even within that statement, it appeared as if he went off the script and said, could have been other people as well. Let's just play a little bit of that. Sure.
Let me be totally clear in saying that, and I've said this many times, I accept our intelligence community's conclusion that Russia's meddling in the 2016 election took place. Could be other people also. There's a lot of people out there. There was no collusion at all.
Okay. A lot of people out there. I want to get your reaction when you heard that.
So, two things, right? That sort of clarification comes 26 hours after his statement in Helsinki, which is very different.
Not just that, he did do an interview. He did an interview with Fox after the press conference. He had plenty of opportunity to clarify.
And that's my point, right? Having worked in a White House, presidents misspeak. They're human beings. That's fine. You have a staff around you. They would have either he would have had him fix it in his very first interview. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was with him and could have advised him to clean it up there. Or you would have had her come out or issue a written statement. But the notion that 26 hours went by, first of all, suggests this was not, he had to be dragged here. This was not, he didn't just sort of realize he misspoke a word.
Right.
Second, the wooden thing is awfully tortured, right? I mean, if you look at the greater context of what he said.
It is.
I never seen him ask Obama to correct about 57 states.
No.
That's right. Yeah.
Is there a clip of him saying that?
57 states.
Yeah, 57
He
states.
said, I've been to all the states except for all 57 except for one. I still have 2 more to go.
Yeah.
So figure that out.
You know,
That's
it
like
is
58
just wonderful
states.
to be back in Oregon, and over the last 15 months, we've traveled to every corner of the United States. I've now been in 57 states. I think 1 left to go. 1 left to go. Alaska and Hawaii I was not allowed to go to, even though I really wanted to visit, but my staff would not justify it.
57.
That's true, though.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I mean, even like somebody in first grade should know that second.
Talking about Peter Strzok. The first time we talked about him, we couldn't figure out how you say his last name. We kept saying Strzok or something.
Yeah.
But Peter Strzok, his lover, Lisa Page, she never had a public congressional questioning like Peter Strzok had.
No.
She's had a private.
Didn't she have a closed door
she had
meeting
a
or
closed
something?
door session. So here's she supposedly is looking for an immunity deal. Here's a clip from Fox Business.
And disgraced former FBI attorney Lisa Page deposed on Capitol Hill for a second day, giving her testimony, her comments conflicting with fellow agent Peter Strzok's testimony last week, according to members within the closed-door hearing. And joining us tonight, Chris Farrell, Director of Investigations Research as well for Judicial Watch. Chris, great to have you here. Strzok is suddenly, taking on a different sort of almost a halo here. The House is absolutely fascinated by her and can't say enough good things about her forthrightness.
Well, I think Page is the opportunity to become the anti-Strzok. She's going to look for an immunity deal, or at least being treated as a cooperating witness. She's seen from last week what her boyfriend was doing, and she's probably a pretty sharp attorney. She sees an opportunity or an opening to kind of recast herself, and I think she's taking advantage of it.
The Freedom Caucus, Mark Meadows, the chair, sending off that letter to the Justice Department saying we've got another example of texts that weren't turned over as we had requested, but suddenly these texts between Andrew McCabe, the former deputy director of the FBI, and Lisa Page are turning out to be revelatory, talking about a meeting with the White House counsel dated October 16th of 2016, implicating possibly the President of the United States.
I want Obama deposed. Look, there's substantial evidence. There's an earlier text message from Page where she says, POTUS wants to know everything we're doing. How much more evidence do we need? At what point does Mr. Obama come out of hiding and offer his version of the facts? That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, and if the mandate, the scope of the special counsel is Russia collusion, then why not to bring up the flexibility remark by President Obama in 2012?
Precisely.
Talking about how much more flexible he can be on issues surrounding Russia.
And all the hysteria over hacking is all on Obama's watch,
Yeah.
Where's the accountability? I want him deposed.
Yeah, you want him deposed? I think it's a terrific idea because no one else in his administration seems to be willing to be deposed. Perhaps he would volunteer because he did say he was going to have the most
Where's
open,
he even at right
transparent
now?
administration in America. You remember? So maybe he'd like to make good on at least that promise. It would be nice to see.
Talking bad about America.
Oh, he's back in his hometown.
Yeah, he's in. Obama was. Let's see. He's touring Kenya.
Yeah, he's in Johannesburg too.
Oh, he's back into his hometown.
Yeah, look, here he is. There you go, Obama.
Oh, he's dancing.
Dancing. There he goes.
Oh, boy.
Such charisma. Really like that guy.
Yeah, he's been over there for a little while. Oh, he's helping her up. You gotta dance.
Yeah, get up. We're all gonna dance.
Mama Sarah.
Look at him. She's too heavy for me.
Is that his, did it say it's his grandmother? His 96-year-old step-grandmother. Huh. That's interesting.
Mama Sarah.
Mama Sarah. Obama's 96-year-old step-grandmother.
Getting down on the dance floor.
Getting down. Now, here he is. This is
All right, so this morning, the president, former President Obama is in South Africa.
You hear that one?
All right, so this morning, the president, former President Obama is in...
They're crying. They're just crying about it.
So upset. No.
This is him speaking. This is where he's been.
In South Africa, giving a speech at a Mandela Lecture Series. And he seemed to address what we've seen unfold on the world stage in the last 24 hours. Listen to President Obama.
Confession number 3. When my staff told me that I was to deliver a lecture, I thought back to the stuffy old professors in bow ties and tweed, and I wondered if this was one more sign of the stage of life that I'm entering.
Man, this guy has some long pauses.
Yeah, he does. He's really thinking about his words there.
Trying to group them brain cells together.
I thought about the fact that my daughters think anything I tell them is a lecture. I thought about the American press and how they often got frustrated at my long-winded answers at press conferences when my responses didn't conform to...
Oh, please, they never said anything bad about him. They loved him.
But given the strange and uncertain times that we are in, and they are strange.
Got that right.
They are uncertain.
800,000 kids missing every year.
With each day's news cycles bringing more head spinning and disturbing headlines, I thought maybe it would be useful to step back for a moment and try to get some perspective. So I hope you'll indulge me, despite the slight chill. As I spend...
All right. Joining me now, Ron Brownstein, Matt.
Now, you know what's interesting?
Yeah.
As you can tell, he starts getting, when he's trying to make a little bit of light of it. Strange and uncertain times. They are strange and their legacy is just completely being dismantled.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty much gone, I think.
Right. What's left?
I don't know.
It's probably in the back of his mind. They're going, I wonder if anybody believes me when I talk. They do.
Well, this lady loves him because remember.
Yeah.
Remember.
All right, so this morning the president...
Yeah.
The president. So, let's see. This is, what do we got? We got the Cohen payment. I'm just not trying to see if we have anything left on that one before we move into our next stage. So what do you guys think of the Trump-Putin summit?
I think it's great. I think we should be talking to Russia.
I think it's like 17 months too late. He should have, not too late now, but he should have did it his first month. If it wasn't for all this collusion stuff and everything they've been throwing about Russia, it would have happened within 30 days.
Yeah.
And I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, you know what's funny is how I think we talked about it last week a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe I just talked to you about it privately, but how interesting it is that how much the left, the left was much more sympathetic. Remember the way that Russia took over so much of Europe was with Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal.
Mm-hmm.
Right, during World War II, when Russia helped us defeat Germany, and then they kind of took a bunch of Eastern Europe, and built the Soviet Union. So we had this, very liberal president at the time with FDR, kind of cozying up to Russia when they were communist. They were like outright communist, and through the years you'd have Republicans kind of making stands against Russia, culminating with Reagan. And through those years, you'd have more of the liberal, hippie, communist sympathizers, Russia. And the Republicans, the conservatives. And you have the conservatives, you have Trump and his administration saying, hey, you know what, let's try to become friendly with Russia. It's better that we become friendly than enter into a new Cold War. And the left wants to just destroy them, right? Let's go to war.
Yeah.
Ready to go to war.
Well, I think Putin and Trump have the same enemies. The New World Order, the United Nations, and all this other.
They're both very
anti-globalist. The world.
Yep. But it's interesting that the left hates Russia now that they're no longer communists.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like weird. If they were communists, they'd probably be cozying up to them.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably because it's like Trump. They can't get a rein on him. They can't. He ain't the puppet on the string.
Yeah.
I think Trump's wonderful, and I don't mind Putin. To be honest with you, personally, I think Putin has, like I said, has a lot of common goals with Trump, and it would be to stop the New World Order. And there ain't nobody trying to do that but these two guys. Everybody else loves it, and that's why there's such a stink about Trump, because he is a wrench. He's a wrench in the system.
He is. And it's interesting with Putin, where so many people, they talk about just how evil of a man he is, and maybe he is. I don't know all the ins and outs, but when they compare him and say he's Hitler, he's just like Hitler. I don't see, millions and millions of people dying under Putin.
Yeah, there's no Russian Jews getting.
No, you don't see Putin just executing like Stalin did, just executing millions of his own people.
Right.
So Russia's not the same. I mean, yes, are they a possible threat? Maybe, but maybe they're not, because they have like a horrible economy, a horrible military, like everything. They're not like a real threat to us.
Right.
So I've never understood it. Economically, the bigger threat is China. Militarily, the bigger threat is China. You're talking about Russia that has negative population growth every year.
Infiltration in this country, the biggest threat is China. However subtly it might be, but they're everywhere. Behind owning all the stuff in this country, a lot of stuff, with the money that they made from us and being built up by our politicians.
Well, me and Jones were just talking about this the other day, because we were, we're always out. I'm always looking at tools and stuff like that for my job, and Craftsman tools, which were great, always known as being American-made quality tools. They're all made in China now.
Yeah. Yep, they're made in China. But some of them, the Craftsman tool thing. So I looked into it, and the ones at Lowe's are made by Stanley.
Yeah, but they're not like the real original Craftsman tools though.
There's because Stanley, so they still sell Craftsman tools at Sears. Those are made in China. The Stanley tools are made in Taiwan. Huh. So there's different lines. So, and the Stanley-made Craftsman tools have like a black chrome finish, a little bit of a darker chrome finish. And there's just some different. They're not the deep well sockets are shorter. They don't have as deep of a well. Just a bunch of little things, but it's basically just like a whole different tool, just that also carries a Craftsman name. So you can buy a Craftsman ratchet at Lowe's and get one at Sears. They're two completely different ratchets.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you. I was looking at them. They just look like a completely different tool from what I was used to with Craftsman stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Now they were talking about Trump. Trump talked about Trump derangement syndrome. Now I have not seen this clip yet, so I'm kind of excited. The Whoopi Goldberg and Judge Jeanine.
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Let's see. Here it is.
Your opening statement, which was how horrible it is, that Donald Trump is talking about
that's
all
what you,
of these
I'm
people.
sorry,
You know
Becky,
what I
that's
think
what
is
you said.
horrible?
You said,
Whoopi, you know
you
what's
said
horrible?
that
When
it
people
was,
who
it's
shouldn't
okay.
be here end up murdering the children of American citizens.
You know what's horrible?
Oh, more of this Trump derangement syndrome.
What's horrible? When the president of the United States whips up people to beat the hell out of people. Say goodbye.
Janine says, after being invited on The View, this is what happened. This is an example of how the left is intolerant, and this is why I wrote my book. Goldberg apologized when the show came back from commercial after.
It was kind of like, I'm not sure it was off stage, but she had to apologize to the people. So they must have heard her, whether it was on
something like
live
here.
or not.
She says something right here, and I can't quite catch it.
People to beat the hell out of people. Say goodbye.
I don't quite know what she said.
She said, say goodbye. Like, I guess she was kicking her off the show.
Oh, maybe.
Oh,
here you go. Here's Puro.
Blank you.
F you. F you. And I said, Whoopi, did you just say F you? I mean, she was right here. And then she said, get the F out of this building.
Judge. Nobody is.
Oh, yeah.
Did you just point at me?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't have Trump derangement. Let me tell you what I have.
Okay.
I have I'm tired of people starting a conversation with Mexicans or liars and rapists. I'm tired of people starting a conversation about...
Who starts a conversation like that?
Nobody.
They make this stuff the heck up. This stuff's made up.
Kids in cages,
it's
man.
Unbelievable. And people believe this hook, line, and sinker. It's unbelievable.
We need to start all of our conversations like that.
Yeah. Hello. Mexicans are liars and rapists.
I should have done that when I walk up to Zaxby's today and they're like, hey, what can I get for you? Mexicans are liars and rapists.
Oh,
I'd like to get a wings and things.
Yeah. Yeah, I want a wings and things.
I want a wings and things. And those Mexicans are liars and rapists.
Yeah.
Just
kids in cages.
Kids in cages.
They sure cut a mean line.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're talking about MS at 13 or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the heck? Unbelievable.
That was crazy. All right. So
calls all people animals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God.
Now, here's something the media has. This is something the media is completely glazed over. This is Putin accusing Hillary of accepting $400 million of donations from Russia.
Catch the guy's name in there he talks about.
Can bring up the Mr. Browder in this particular case. Business associates of Mr. Browder have earned over $1.5 billion in Russia. They never paid any taxes, neither in Russia nor in the United States, and yet the money escaped the country. They were transferred to the United States. They sent huge amount of money, $400 million, as a contribution to the campaign of Hillary Clinton. Well, that's their personal case. It might have been legal, the contribution itself, but the way the money was earned was illegal. So we have a solid reason to believe that some intelligence officers accompanied and guided these transactions. So we have an interest of questioning them. We can that could be a first step, and we can also extend it. Options abound, and they all can be found in an appropriate legal framework.
And did you?
Wow.
So no one is talking about this.
No.
No, they think it's fake news. They say, this was the kind of response I got when I put it up about the 400 million. Fake news. Yeah. And then they got mad at me. You should see what the heck they wrote to me. Unbelievable. I'm like the worst person in the world. But you know what? I'm proud of it. I'm one of the deplorables that I've been so well labeled, along with everything else you can think of that they call Trump.
Here,
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's fine. Here's Rand Paul, what he had to say. He's like one of the only ones who stuck up and said it was a good idea, stuck up for Trump.
Yeah.
Republican Senator, that's Rand Paul, joins us now from Capitol Hill. He's a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and he supported President Trump's decision to meet with Vladimir Putin. Senator Paul, long time no see. Very good to see you this morning. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Listen, you've heard the avalanche of criticism and negativity, appalling, shameful, disgraceful, shocking. It's coming from all sides, and I'm wondering, you're here this morning, you're doing a cleanup on aisle 3?
Well, you know, I think we ought to take a step back and look at the bigger picture and decide whether or not we want to have conversations with even our adversaries. During the height of the Cold War, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, Kennedy had a direct line to Khrushchev, and I think the world is a safer and a much better place because we had that line of communication. We had ambassadors. Let me finish my question. If you're going to ask questions, let me finish.
All right, all right.
It was also, I think, a good idea that we've continued to have ambassadors and diplomatic relations with Russia, even though they are our adversaries.
Senator Paul, I don't think anybody would object to trying to have a good relationship with Russia. I think the problem is that he seemed to throw the American intelligence community under the bus while doing that. Is there a part of you that wishes? Is there a part of you that wishes?
I think that's incorrect. I think what you just said, that no one would object to him meeting with Putin. Every Democrat on Capitol Hill objected to him meeting with Putin. Every neoconservative and warmonger on the right also objected to it. So yes, the vast majority of the foreign policy community, the bipartisan consensus, said you shouldn't meet with Putin. They also said he shouldn't meet with Kim. And this is an extraordinary thing about President Trump that should be lauded and not belittled, is that he is willing to meet with adversaries to try to prevent us from having World War III.
Senator, you talked about the Cold War history, and one of the things that was distinct about both President Kennedy, you mentioned, and President Reagan was that they did two things. They both met with America's adversaries, and they were quite clear about America's moral view about the repression of both the Soviet Union and then subsequent to that, Russia now, which most people think is led by basically a dictator. What the president didn't do and is getting criticized for is he did not make that moral case. He basically said in the relationship between the two, both sides are at fault. That's the distinction here, not the whether to have the meeting. So what about that moral piece?
But I don't think you're being fair to the president. So when President Reagan met with Gorbachev, do you think he listed the litany of Soviet abuses from Stalin on in a one-to-one meeting? No, they were listed and recounted by other people in the administration. There have also been people within the Trump administration who have listed and recounted the human rights violations in Russia. But we also have to understand that we have to deal with the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. And if we're only going to talk to people who have perfect constitutional republics, we're going to have a very small audience, and we're going to have a lot of potential conflict with no outlet for diplomacy. So no, I think the president did a good thing by meeting with Putin, and I think it's a mistake for people to try to turn this into a partisan escapade.
Senator, President Reagan called the Soviet Union the evil empire. Many of his most famous comments are calling out the Soviet Union on its moral shortcomings. So I think that comparison between President Reagan and President Trump is off a bit. But let me ask you this question. It has also been the tradition for American presidents.
But I'll respond to that. I'll say Reagan also sat down with Gorbachev and didn't call it an evil empire in a press conference with Gorbachev. He also sat down with Gorbachev, and we also had strategic arms limitations. So he actually did, while the rhetoric was strong, you actually might compare that to Trump's rhetoric with North Korea. It's been very strong, but he's been willing to sit down with him. I think there's actually some apt comparisons between Reagan and Trump on the diplomatic front.
The difference here is, Senator, that President Trump is not short about offering criticism to American allies, whether it's on the German gas deal or whether immigration is destroying Europe. But when it comes to Russia, he seems to have, in all instances, whether he's standing next to the Russian president or just quietly by himself in a one-on-one interview, bends over backwards to say nice things about the Russians, and that robs him of an opportunity to make a clear moral case about the distinction between America, which has grown up and had a history of supporting freedom, and the Russian regime, which does not do so. And why not take that opportunity as an American president?
I think what this gets into is that the president has undergone an onslaught of a year and a half of a partisan investigation accusing him of somehow colluding with the Russians. So I think he's sensitive to that. But there's another aspect to the investigation that is a legitimate one, and that is saying, did Russians hack Hillary Clinton's emails? And so there's a legitimate aspect, and then there's a partisan aspect. And we all have now concluded and all understand that the investigation was started by partisans, James Clapper, John Brennan, who started the investigation at the behest of the Clinton campaign, who paid somebody in Russia to come up with a dossier. So really, it's funny that we keep talking about Trump and Russia when, in fact, the only person actually known to pay Russian agents was Hillary Clinton, who paid a British spy, who then paid British agents for dirt on, concocted dirt on Trump.
I know we could go down that road again, but I still think the question remains.
We can't go down that road
American
again.
Intelligence community under the bus. I still think
Don't talk about that. Don't talk about that.
We're going to have to leave it there,
One of the
Senator.
reasons for it is James Clapper's a known liar who's lied to Congress. So
well,
that's,
so for someone who's for
problem.
transparency, Senator, a lot of people were outraged that this meeting took place privately. I think that was a lot of concern as well. But we're going to have to leave it there. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Gotta leave it there. You started talking about Hillary Clinton.
Rand Paul is one of the best.
Yeah,
he is. I'm happy to see the Pauls, him and his father, warming up to Trump a little more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely, because they're some of the only people I trust out there. I don't trust too many of these guys.
Senator here in the great state of Kentucky.
That's right. Yeah, Rand Paul he's both him and his father. They were just so well spoken with all these topics. They really knew their history. They knew the information, knew the facts behind things, and they can run circles around these reporters that try to throw out the little gotcha questions.
Yeah,
you know,
and they like the Constitution.
Yeah, the whole time Rand Paul's responding, they're just the reporters sitting there waiting, and it's like, but he met with Putin. Like there's nothing there.
And then he kept making the ties between Trump and Reagan, but like you said earlier, those are two totally. The Soviet Union was still established,
right? That's what he said. He called the Soviet Union the evil empire. Yeah. The Soviet Union.
It's not Soviet Union anymore.
That's right.
They're missing that.
They are. They're just completely missing that. You know, if it was the Soviet Union, now, and this is what I'm wondering, if it was still a communist regime, would they be? How would the response be? Would it be more?
Oh, they would love them.
Right. That's it's just crazy.
Like we talked about, the Pinko commies hate freedom.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the Pinko commies, how about the Democratic Socialist Ocasio-Cortez? She explains unemployment right here, explaining the unemployment rate.
Unemployment is low because everyone has 2 jobs.
There you go. Boom. Done. That's why it's so low. See what else she says.
Unemployment is low because people are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week.
Oh, so that it's another cause for low unemployment, long hours.
And can barely feed their kids. And so I do think that right now, when we have this no-holds-barred, Wild West hyper-capitalism, what that means is profit at any cost. Capitalism has not always existed in the world, and it will not always exist in the world.
Okay, so what do you make?
What in the world, man?
Wow.
That's the future face of the Democratic Party right there.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? This is a new hero. It's unbelievable.
Scary. It's scary.
It's
but that's, I think, what they're really betting. They're betting it on people like her, because she's running in New York. I believe she'll win. Some people don't think that she's going to win. The Republican,
I think she'll win.
The Democrat that she beat out in the primary, he's going to be running as an independent. So
yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't think it matters.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Who did she beat? What was his name?
Well, then that means the other party, the Republican, might have a chance then.
Maybe
if they split the vote.
If they split the vote, that's true. Let's see what the.
That's what they would have used on why Trump went if Bernie ran.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If Bernie ran independent, then they would have said that's why Trump won. Instead of the people love him.
Crowley.
I want a last chance in the world.
It's Crowley.
Yeah, Congressman Joe Crowley, high-ranking Democrat, rumored to be next in line for Speaker of the House. He gets kicked out, so he's going to be running as an independent or something, or still on the ballot. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe it will. Hopefully, if you could split the vote, get the. Never mind. It's not going to work. Look,
not in New York.
Look at it. 2.4 million people in Queens County, which is the
just
district.
in the county.
And it's an 8-to-1 ratio of Democrats to Republicans. So you can split the vote 3 times and they'll still beat the Republican.
Wow.
That's a lost cause. So she's going to get in. She's going to become the new face of the Democratic Party. That's what I'm thinking. They have to have a radical. They can't run a Hillary. They need to push radicals and go further left. That's what the base wants.
I guess they figure that pushing women is going to be their new thing. So we're going to push a woman, and then we need her to be a little dark.
She has to be, Latino.
Yeah, let's get you a little ethnic looking, and then we're going to give you some wild ideas out
Everything's
there.
free.
Free, yeah.
Free for
free
you,
stuff.
free for me. Everything's free. Unemployment is going to go away because nobody's going to have any jobs. I like that girl on Twitter. There was someone, Ben Shapiro, just retweeted her. He'll pick on people once in a while, like nobodies, and just retweet them. But she said about it's not fair that everybody is entitled to like housing, food, the basic necessities of life, whether they have a job or not.
How you figure?
Exactly. So the idea that I came up with that I think would be great is all of the wealthy people in America should take a year off.
That's a good idea.
Live on your wealth for a year, take the year off and help us all out so that people can understand what drives an economy.
Right. Let all those people take off. Say, hey, we're closing all our businesses for 1 year. We're shutting everything down for 1 year.
1 year.
See what happens.
Yep. See that would be good. Shut down the businesses. 1 year.
Yeah. Because you know what? The poor people aren't the ones that are hiring a lot of people.
No.
That is interesting.
It is. Let's see. What do we have? So here, this is Special Counsel Robert Mueller is giving Tony Podesta supposedly immunity to testify against Paul Manafort. This is, what's the other Podesta? John Podesta's brother.
John.
Yeah.
Here's the clip.
Several months ago in this show, we broke the story of Tony Podesta's lobbying for Ukraine. Podesta, of course, is the founder of the now defunct Podesta Group, which for years was one of the biggest Democratic firms in Washington. He's also the brother of Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta. He's also a close friend and a major fundraiser for Bill and Hillary Clinton. Now, the Podesta Group, we reported, worked with Paul Manafort to lobby on behalf of Ukrainian interests in the United States without properly registering at the time under the Foreign Agent Registration Act, which is called FARA. Manafort got in big trouble for that. He's now being held in solitary confinement. He's looking at a life sentence behind bars. And Tony Podesta? Whatever happened to him? Well, tonight we can report exclusively, based on 2 separate sources we spoke to today, that Tony Podesta has been offered immunity by Robert Mueller to testify against Paul Manafort. In other words, for a near identical crime, Bill and Hillary's friend could skate and emerge completely unscathed, while Paul Manafort may rot in jail. Only one of them made the mistake of chairing Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Maybe the most amazing is the pretext under which all of this is happening. The FARA law was passed back in 1938 in order to prevent the Nazi government from lobbying in the U.S. Over a 50-year period, from 1966 to 2015, a total of only 7 people were criminally charged under FARA. Many more could have been charged. Washington is brimming with unregistered foreign agents and has been for decades. And yet only 7 people were charged over 50 years. And yet in recent months, 3 people have been charged under FARA. What do they have in common? You guessed it, some connection to Donald Trump. Federal laws ought to be enforced. Unlike the left, we actually believe that. But they must be enforced equally, or they're not laws at all. They're political cudgels and tools of social control. They become illegitimate and scary. In this case, ought to make you nervous.
Wow. That's crazy.
Now, here's the interesting thing, though. Let's take this. We're going to go conspiracy side now.
Okay.
The Podesta brothers are some questionable characters. Look up Tony Podesta art, and tell me that's not weird.
All right, let's see here. Tony Podesta art.
Yeah.
Tony Podesta art. Let's see what we get.
Some weird things here.
What in the world?
Yeah.
All right.
A little odd.
What in the... This is
Yeah.
What is this stuff?
Yeah, this is the art that he has hanging in his house. Now, if you look all the way to the right there,
yeah,
there is go up to the top and to the right. Now, see that if you look at in that picture there, at the bottom left is a crime scene photo of one of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims that he would decapitate and bend their head backwards and all that creepiness.
Yeah.
Then if you look right above that is a giant bronze recreation of that Tony Podesta has hanging from his ceiling. Actually, look, there's a picture of him standing right by it. If you go up with your mouse.
Oh, yeah.
And there's yeah. And then go up, there's a picture of him and his wife in the house with it.
Wow, what in the world?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, so Tony Podesta, who's going to be let off scot-free because he's the Clintons' friend, has a bronze statue, even if it's just a bronze, basically this is headless corpse-looking bronze statue hanging from a ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a little disturbing.
It looks exactly like the Dahmer thing.
What is that about?
Huh?
What is that about?
I don't know. It's really creepy, though.
Yeah, if you look on the Google Images, it's just nuts looking.
There's nothing good in there.
This is disturbing. I gotta get out. I gotta get out.
You're gonna have to burn your computer after this.
What in the world, man? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Anybody out there listening, we're not going to get into it now, but just do some research about the Podesta brothers and how much they love to take care of children.
Yeah, that's some disturbing.
You'll find some disturbing things.
It is. So, let's see here. On our, what do we got? We got Justice Department. Okay, that's the next one. Right here, last story about Trump. I think this is the last story. Well, we got one more. Last story, but one of the last stories about Trump. This is Michael Cohen. This just came out today. Supposedly has been secretly taping Trump's discussions. Let's see what this is. NBC News.
Tonight, sex, money, and the audio tapes. NBC News confirming the president's longtime lawyer, former fixer Michael Cohen, secretly recorded a conversation with then-candidate Trump about former Playboy model Karen McDougal, who claims she had a year-long affair with Mr. Trump more than a decade ago. A source familiar with the president's legal strategy says heard on that recording made just 2 months before the 2016 election, the men discussing whether to reimburse the National Enquirer's parent company, which bought the rights to McDougal's story. The White House denies any affair took place.
I'm not a liar. I'm perceived as a liar or this and that, all these bad names. I did what I did. I'm not proud of it.
The FBI seizing the recording this year during a raid on Cohen's office, according to the New York Times. Part of the Justice Department's investigation into Cohen's role paying women to avoid potentially embarrassing headlines about Mr. Trump ahead of the election. The president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, says Mr. Trump never made that payment. No story about the alleged affair was ever published. The recording, the Wall Street Journal reports, is less than 2 minutes long and cuts off before the conversation ends.
Did Michael Cohen betray you, Mr. President?
Tonight, President Trump ignoring reporters' questions. The revelations highlight tactics used by the president's lawyer to keep his personal life secret, demonstrating the legal and political threat Cohen may pose to the president, after Cohen, who a year ago said he'd take a bullet for Mr. Trump, now says he puts family and country first.
Are you worried that Michael Cohen might flip?
Look, I did nothing wrong. You have to understand. This stuff would have come out a long time ago. I did nothing wrong. I don't do anything wrong.
Rudy Giuliani says the recording shows President Trump did nothing wrong, but tonight Michael Cohen's lawyer tells NBC News, quote, any attempt at spin cannot change what is on the tape.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking.
These people are so
Hey, the only thing he could have done wrong is if the check bounced. As far as I'm concerned.
Man.
I can't believe they blow all this stuff out of proportion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give the men in this country all the kind of money he had and see what happens. They'd have things tattooed on their forehead that are supposed to be so barred, and it's such a bad thing that Trump did.
This story you sent over to me, the Justice Department allowing the sale of
Defense Distributed has won the right to post plans for 3D printable guns on its website starting August 1st. Joining us now, Kirk Knudsen, the cyber guy, gun control advocates coming out against this move, but 3D printing isn't that widespread. Fill us in on this.
Well, right now, Dagan, good morning to you. Right now, there is you could download the AR-15 plans and print an AR-15 on a 3D printer. You say, how in the world is that possible? It is. So there are plastics that are out there that can withstand the kind of force that a gun emits. And so those plans are now back up online. So for gun advocates and those interested in the Second Amendment, this is a huge, huge win. And for those concerned about security from terrorists, for criminals, for kids that could print this out on a 3D printer, because all you need is an inexpensive 3D printer in place.
I don't know about voila, you have an AR-15.
Just it's just going to come out functioning with bullets and everything.
Yeah, I don't know if you can 3D print every component of an AR-15. You know what I mean?
I don't think you could.
I don't think you could.
Place that really address how we should handle this, because back just a few years ago, this was a pipe dream of something in a sci-fi movie. But as of like 2013 onward, this is a reality. And it's become less expensive to get a 3D printer, more widely accessible materials to put in a 3D printer to make just about anything.
How do you think it progresses? Don't you think that there end up being legal battles, like even more legal battles over this?
Yeah, I mean, you have people that see this as a gun control issue, but what I think we should be doing is see a concerted effort from our legislators on a federal level to say, all right, how do we handle, because there already are gun laws on how we manufacture guns. There are certain ways you can manufacture a gun and you shouldn't manufacture it a certain way. So we already have that perimeter. They just need to get an update and a refresh to that and take gun control out of it.
So how much can we get a 3D printer for?
I don't know. Have you ever priced one?
No. Let's do it. Let's see.
Look it up. See how much.
So here's some mini 3D printers, but you need a pretty good sized 3D printer. Right? I mean, here's a 3D. Look at this one. Look at this story. A 3D printer that can print buildings.
Wow.
Look at that. This thing can print 50-foot tall buildings.
It just spits buildings out. According to that guy, they just pop right out. Already done.
Well, this thing's not, this is a 3D print. It's not, I mean, it's a 3D printer I guess, in a sense, but it's not printing them out of plastic. It's printing them out of concrete. And it's just kind of like pouring a form.
It's not really a printer, though.
Nah, it's not like printing them out. But where's, let's see, 3D printing. How big of one do you think you need for a gun?
I mean, are you going to print the barrel? Because I don't see how the barrel's going to hold up.
Look like a BB can fit in the front. Is all that looks.
I think they are. I mean, these mini ones. Here's a pretty decent looking Form Labs 3D printer, basic package, $3,350. $3,350.
It's cheaper than that to build a 80% AR.
Yeah. Well, think about this. I just bought an AR-15 lower for $40.
Yeah.
And I can get all the components. We were looking at B stock. You could build a sub $300 AR right now.
Oh yeah, you definitely. It's right in the ballpark of about $300 to $400. You can build an AR-15 now.
Right. So Yeah, that's a interesting one right there. Now this is a story. Let's see what's this. Oh, this is a story. This is so weird. This is about the Mandalay Bay, the owner suing the Las Vegas victims.
Strange.
Days before the worst shooting in modern American history, Stephen Paddock amassed an arsenal at the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas, making multiple trips, carrying 20-plus pieces of luggage containing 22 rifles into his suite. Paddock went on to kill 58 people and wound more than 500 others. Now MGM, the owner of the Mandalay Bay, which faces over 1,000 victims' lawsuits, has turned around and sued those shooting victims back.
There's confusion by the victims. Now they are being sued by one of the largest companies in America for getting shot. They're just in disbelief and they're mad.
The company is not looking for money, but is asking 2 federal courts to throw out their cases because MGM says it is protected under a federal anti-terrorism law. That law shields private companies from financial liability following a terrorist attack if the business relied on security measures certified by the Department of Homeland Security. MGM says it did, but the FBI never declared the Las Vegas shooting a terrorist attack.
This had nothing to do with terrorism, and they have no motive for the shooting.
In a statement, MGM writes in part, "From the day of this tragedy, we have focused on the recovery of those impacted by the despicable act of one evil individual." Adding, years of drawn-out litigation and hearings are not in the best interest of victims, the community, and those still healing. For victims who believe the hotel could have done a better job protecting them, lawyers say a speedy resolution is not their first priority. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking.
That is weird, man.
Yeah. So they're just suing him back just to try to get everything thrown out of court.
Yeah, it's just the corruptness of the legal system.
Yeah. Yeah, you know that for some reason I just saw at the end there they panned past the one grave or the memorial.
Yeah.
There's a Beanie Baby hanging out on the side. You know that where it says TY Beanie Baby?
Yeah.
Is the name of the owner, Ty. His first name was Ty. And he's the sole owner of Beanie Baby, right?
Uh-huh.
You know when Beanie Baby got big, where he was the sole owner, he became one of the richest men in the world. He was worth over like $8 billion.
Really?
From people selling the Beanie Babies. And he's the one that came up with the idea of like making a couple of them and then changing the color. So it created this boom and this rarity and everybody wanted to collect them.
Wow.
That was him just manipulating the market. And even today, he's still worth like $3 billion. I never knew that. Like, wow, the guy that created Beanie Babies was a multi-billionaire.
All it was is a stuffed animal that they filled it with beans instead of cotton.
Understuffed too, so they can move it around. That's interesting.
Right.
Oh, here you go. Here's a clip. This is good for people listening. Should look this one up. Jean-Claude Juncker stumbling at the NATO gala. He's the European Commission president. And here he is.
This is him trying to get down off the stage. Now, the reason this is so funny is not because he's elderly and having a hard time getting down. He was drunk.
Yeah, that's the theory, right? He's always drunk.
Oh, he was clearly drunk. Watch him here. Woo! He's a little woozy.
He's walking backwards.
Good thing it wasn't Wendy.
Yeah, right. Now, like earlier on in the day, as the different world leaders were coming on, he was greeting them by shaking their hands and slapping their faces.
Oh, that was in the beginning when he was walking up.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if it's in this video.
He goes to walk up the steps and he needs help.
Yeah, let me kiss you. Oh, let me kiss you again. Oh yeah.
European Union, their economy is so small.
That's amazing.
They're looking for I heard they were looking for like a replacement for the United States. Just to do
really?
trade deals with. Yeah, they were trying to figure out like what they would do without us, just in case. So, all right, let's see. This is you hear about Trump wanting to repaint the Air Force One?
Yeah, we were talking about that.
President Trump confirms big changes are in store for Air Force One. He told CBS Evening News anchor, that's Jeff Gore, in Scotland, that the new model of the presidential plane will be updated both inside and out.
Can we talk about Air Force One for a second?
Yeah.
So the goal is to repaint it, to redo it.
No, for years they've wanted to order new Air Force One. You know, Air Force One is 2 planes, not 1 plane. Okay,
right.
I think most people know that. Air Force One is 2 planes. And no president has been able to make the right deal. They haven't been able to make a deal to do. And, you know, Air Force One is 30 years old. And it shouldn't be. And so I don't even know that because it's a long time to build, and we just started the process. But I was able to save $1.5 billion and order a new one for the country.
But if your vision is for no powder blue, it's a red, white, and blue plane.
The new plane, when it comes in, Air Force One, which will be largely for future presidents, because by the time it gets built, I hate to say this, it's going to be a long time. It's a very complex project. But by the time it gets built, you're going to have many presidents hopefully use it and enjoy it. But Boeing gave us a good deal, and we were able to take that. But I said, I wonder if we should use the same baby blue color, and we're not. You know what colors we're using? Take a guess.
Red, white, and blue.
Red, white, and blue. Air Force One is going to be incredible. It's going to be the top of the line, the top in the world, and it's going to be red, white, and blue, which I think is appropriate.
And you've seen the design.
This is gonna be interesting. You think they trash it?
Let's hear.
He also wants to get a bigger bed in there too. I think that's a good idea because I've never been on it, but I'm told it's a double. You've been on it, John. I'm told it's a double-size bed or a queen-size bed.
No, yeah, it's not very big, but you feel like you're flying in an office. You don't know that you're in a plane, so it's pretty sweet
Something
digs.
so iconic about the current plane.
I like that powder blue too. Jeff speaks
Oh,
with
of course
President
they
Trump
do.
again tomorrow. This time at the White House. You can see the.
Oh man,
I like the powder blue.
Oh.
Yeah, nobody likes red, white, and blue no more, huh?
Yeah.
No, forget that. Powder blue. Oh, that's a good story. Gotta say that story. The Trump baby balloon. That Trump baby balloon is coming to America.
Is it?
And you know where it's coming to?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. I knew it.
Is it coming to New Jersey?
Yeah.
Yep. Somebody at
well, you know why? Because they know it can't get shot down there.
That's right. Fly it over Kentucky or Georgia, and we're blasting it out of the sky.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it down.
What's that guy's name?
Who's that?
Didier?
Where are you looking?
The activist, right here. The activist Didier Jimenez.
Didier Jimenez Castro
of Hillsborough, New Jersey. There you go. They got a GoFundMe page. Let's see what's going on with it. They're trying to get $4,500. Wow, they raised $23,000.
Wow.
Yep. Look at this. People are donating all this money. $50, $25. You know, and this, you know what's funny about this? Yeah, let's give this guy right here helped raise $705. You know, instead of giving it to the poor, sick, dying children, let's donate it to bring a baby fat Trump balloon, fly it around New Jersey.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's sick.
It is sick. Man.
Communists.
His
name is even Castro.
It was.
Yeah.
Let's see. Trying to find the next before we get into these. See if there's any. This is gonna be a good one too. Oh, here you go. Here you go. Here's the video. This is a video of the difference. The difference of Obama and meeting with Putin versus Trump meeting with Putin.
They're both just staring at the floor.
You got both of them just kind of sad.
Now look at Trump and Putin. Yeah, having a good time.
Joking around. Pointing.
He's like pointing at the guy. Look at that loser over there. Putin's just like, his speech is so long-winded.
That is such a wild contrast.
That's great.
It was a good little video. You gotta look that up if you're not watching the YouTube stream. Feel the difference. Obama Putin compared with Trump Putin. That was a good one. So we have feminists. You sent me this article. Feminists are sending adult diapers to Democratic senators for the. What is this supposed to? Oh, so that the female senators can ride out the long hearings.
Right. And pee themselves.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Wow. So Thinks, this company that offers product lines created to aid women during menstruation and incontinence, announced they've delivered endurance packages to female senators Kristen Gillibrand and Elizabeth Warren to, quote, prepare them for hearings and other political roadblock attempts in efforts to stop Kavanaugh's confirmation.
So everybody stay away from Gillibrand and Warren because they're gonna pee and poop themselves, I guess.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Let's see. Let's look at some of their T-shirts.
Ooh, what we got here?
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Period.
What?
You got period. Ooh, look, there's a period hat.
A period hat?
There's a shirt that says "Real Menstruating Human."
Wow, these people are sick.
$34. That's pretty expensive. What are they? This is interesting. They're just selling these things so you can just period in them. Huh. I wear them as a backup to my cup on. Have you seen those? The period cups?
No, I don't even want to know.
It's just a cup to catch it.
I'm better not knowing.
All right, we got California gains. They had an impressive job number in the month of June.
Uh-huh.
They gained a record 800 jobs.
Yeah.
Woo! 800 jobs.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I wonder how many people they gained in the state during that time.
Yeah, exactly.
There had to be more than that in births and more than that coming across the border.
And look at back in April, they added 26,000 jobs.
Wow.
Oh, there you go. California jobs in thousands. So like October, 60,000 jobs. November, 40,000 jobs. January, 45, 50,000 jobs. June, 800 jobs.
Wow.
It's not doing too well. But yet the unemployment rate is low.
Huh.
That's pretty interesting. Dennis Rodman invited Kanye West to North Korea.
Yeah, we want to go hang out.
Look at that. Dennis Rodman said he'd like to collaborate.
Yeah, because they're all friends now. You know, him, Kim, Kanye, they're all friends.
Trump. They're all hanging out.
Yeah.
That's pretty. I'm wondering, man, this is going to be an interesting election coming up.
Yeah, it is.
You know? Like, what do you think's going to happen? Think Trump's just going to sweep it again?
Yeah, I think so.
Sacha Baron Cohen, I think that's his name, but everybody just knows him as Borat. Has a new television show he's working on. So he's been going around. He has a Showtime series coming out called Who is America? He's been doing some interviews. He's gotten a couple. Let's see.
Was he pranking people?
Yeah. He already got. He's doing these interviews with different ones. He got Judge Roy Moore, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, Sarah Palin. He even got to my local state representative right here in town. He got to him.
Wow.
He said they were making like a video for local government officials on what to do during a terrorist attack. So I have no clue what this is going to be like.
Might be interesting.
It could be interesting. But you know, there's a gun store. He went into a Florida gun store and tried to purchase. He said he was like a Hungarian immigrant or something. He wanted to purchase a gun. And they like looked at him, and they were just kind of looking at, and he came in with a camera crew, and they're like, "This is Borat," and they kicked him out, man.
They kicked him out?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that real quick. Where that was. Florida gun store. Well, here we go. Here's a video of it.
Oh, we actually...
If we can get this one to...
Is it loading?
Watch his face. Watch his face. See ya. I'm out of here. You got me caught. Get the out of here, Borat.
What in the world?
In the moment, employees of a Riverside gun store say they caught actor Sacha Baron Cohen coming to their shop in disguise and under false pretense.
That is fake.
It all happened right here at Warrior One Guns and Ammo in February 2017, and it was all caught on the store surveillance video.
The moment his words came out of his mouth, I was like, this guy's full of
That store owner, Norris Sweden, he's the one seen in the video dealing with Cohen and his camera crew after he was told they were there doing a documentary on a Hungarian immigrant wanting to buy a gun.
He comes in, off the bat, you can see the video, I'm looking, I'm like, this guy does not look like a Hungarian immigrant. Tight leather pants, a beard, it just didn't fit.
But he says it's what Cohen said after that handshake that really blew his cover.
I want to buy a gun. Like that, talking like that. And I just kept looking at the guy and I was like, you're Borat. As soon as I said that, his eyes just looked at me like, and he did a B-turn right out the door.
Sweden says the video shows Cohen bailing on his crew after he gets called out. So then he turns to question the producer.
We're talking to the people. They don't want to give us an answer. We basically told them, get the f out. You know, you guys are all full of have a great day. Get out.
Sweden says it's obvious what Cohen's intentions were.
Once I knew it was Borat, we already know his game and his so we knew that he's here to make a mockery. And make a mockery of what? Gun owners? The gun business? Gun shops?
He says it's clear his store was meant to be part of a segment in Cohen's new program on Showtime called Who is America?
He's ready to put the naughty man on a very long time out.
And then you got some gun advocate holding a bunny on a gun. If you're a gun advocate, what the f are you doing holding a gun with a bunny on it? Really?
Sweden believes his shop was targeted because it's well known and in the process of launching a pilot show called Down the Barrel. But he says Cohen and his crew picked the wrong guy to mess with.
He was fake, the producers were fake, the show is fake, and Showtime is fake, to be honest with you. They want a real story? Come talk to us. We'll give you a real story.
And Sweden tells me he is 100% positive that the man he dealt with here last year was in fact actor Sacha Baron Cohen. When I reached out to Showtime to get their response to all of his allegations, they would only tell me they have no comment. Reporting in Riverside, Bill Malusian, Fox 11 News.
It was a California gun store. I didn't know such a thing existed.
It was I thought they said Florida. Oh.
I thought it was Riverside, Florida, but it's...
Oh.
I don't know what I was thinking.
How are they selling guns in California?
I know. Look at those. Those some good-looking guns. Surprise.
Yeah, it had some AR-15s in there. And
so what do you got? You have like 5-round magazines. You have to load them from the top or something?
Probably.
Something crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. Why I thought it was Florida. Yeah, that's pretty wild. But that, you know, that's what it is. They're just trying to go in and make a mockery of everybody. And so that's it. It will be interesting to see what his conversations were with the with these politicians.
Wow.
This is this is a little rough. A Victorian farmer who said he tripped on an eggplant and accidentally shot and killed a man after tripping on an eggplant. I thought someone tripped on his eggplant.
Oh.
So he shot him. He tripped on an eggplant and shot someone. He was sentenced to 5 years in jail.
Where did 5 years in jail?
Yeah.
Huh.
Where was this?
I don't think it was in the U.S.
Is this Australia? It's Australia. Probably. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I thought you can't have guns.
I think they're allowed to have like certain, like I think they have like shotguns or something.
Wow. He just found out that the man, Mr. Calandro accidentally ran over his dog and was angrily walking toward the car when he slipped and the gun fired.
Huh, no video evidence.
Nope. That's an interesting one. The FDA is cracking down on the use of the word milk. They're saying current products don't meet labeling standards. Like, and here's a quote, an almond doesn't lactate.
Yeah, it's true. For years, we'd call it almond milk, coconut milk. These are plants. They don't give off milk.
Soy milk. Yeah, they're plants.
Soy milk.
They're plants, right? But look at this one here.
It's just a white juice.
Remake this one right here. Sharing human technology with plants.
What is that?
Look at it. An installation project of a walking succulent plant.
A plant that walks?
Sharing human technology with plants. This is a, let's see right here. The idea came from the original idea of the project came from a dead sunflower. In 2014, I went to a sunflower exhibition and found myself focused on a dead sunflower. It sat in a place that was always in a shadow. And there it was just dead. I thought, if it could move a little bit, take a 30-foot walk out of the shadow to where the other sunflowers were, it would have lived, but it didn't.
Are these people crazy? What in the world? All right, now I'm angry.
They want to build walking plants, man.
This is stupid. Next. This is so dumb.
Oh, what is this? In remaking the project, is there videos of this? What is this? Let's see what this one is here.
They don't really have walking plants, do they?
Mixed reality. I don't know. I guess they're working on it. They're saying here's some clips, but they don't show the clips. But the clips say like it chases the sunshine when it needs it. It spins when it enjoys the sun. It looks for shade when it needs to cool off. It plays with humans. It dances when it's happy. It gets grumpy when it's thirsty.
People are nuts.
They're trying to make, basically they're working on trying to make plants more like an animal.
Yeah, no thanks.
Wow, pretty interesting.
People are stupid, man. They'll waste money on anything.
Well, read this.
So what's this one?
Read this one.
Sick man who had sex with a horse claimed animal gave consent by winking at him. My goodness.
Daniel Raymond Webb Jackson, 31, was jailed for 10 months when he was caught. This is another one out of Australia. He was caught on camera.
In Australia.
This one was caught on camera. So his
I'm good. I don't need to see it.
He said she's only a little 2-year-old.
Oh, so he's a pedophile too.
A little 2-year-old. Oh man. But the horse gave consent by winking. How sick is that, man?
That is creepy.
This is another one.
I can't even read it.
Man arrested for allegedly killing coworker by forcing compressed air up his buttocks.
How? How does that even happen?
He shot compressed air into their rectum as a prank and accidentally killed one of the guys he did it to. Like, what kind of prank is that? Like,
That's got to be some pretty powerful air.
Pull down your pants.
Pull down your pants. Let me shove
Pull down your pants. I want you to feel something. It's going to be so cool. I'm going to shoot a blast of compressed air. I don't know. It's going to make you fart. A big fart.
Wow.
Fill him up with air and accidentally kill him. That's nuts. Oh, look at this one. This is a Japanese thing, I guess. A Kyoto student died January 1st after being poked in the rear with an air duster blower.
What in the world? People, stop shoving stuff up your butt.
Yeah, what is that? It says that the air compressed was pushed up against the anus over clothing, not directly into the cavity. Oh, okay. And the release of the air into the body probably damaged the lungs. Wow.
What?
How does that happen?
How does air go from your butt to your lungs?
How does a conversation bring you to doing this stuff? How does a conversation even start that brings you to this?
Right.
Hey man, I want to shoot some air up your butt.
This ought to be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my.
You sent me this art. We read this one, and this is the last story that I have. This is remember back probably one of the first episodes we did. We were talking about the two black
so racist.
The two blacks in Alaska.
Yeah, the new blacks.
We're
Yeah.
talking about the last two blockbusters in Alaska.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there was another one in Oregon. So the last two last two blockbusters in Alaska closed.
Huh.
So now there's one left.
One blockbuster still open
in Bend, Oregon.
Wow.
And what did they say? That they still have popularity. But let's see. New releases are $3.99. Floppy disks. They still have floppy disks. So
Wow.
they haven't changed. They never changed. Look at that. They still use the old computer system. They haven't updated their hardware since the 90s. Just to make it real nostalgic. That's pretty wild.
Look, people are touristing there.
Yeah, taking selfies in front of it. That is pretty wild. Yeah, that it is. Every once in a while, I just start thinking about that. Like last night, I was playing. I have one of the Super Nintendo classics, and was playing those old games.
Yeah.
Remembering that when we used to rent them from the Blockbuster. Such a
crazy.
It was. It's just wild how quickly, just the whole culture changes.
Yeah, times change quick.
You know, they do. They do. Well,
another one in the books.
That's about everything we have for today. Do you work on anything interesting this week?
Nothing real interesting. Just a lot of general repairs. Got another Corvette in the shop, doing a big job on it. Heads, cam, nitrous, all the good stuff. It's pretty much a mirror of the last job. Only this one's getting a racing clutch instead of a high performance torque converter, and it's getting some nitrous. So that's kind of the other addition.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
He's experienced glitches.
Wow.
So we got to get him on. We've just had such a busy. We were hoping to do a couple of these this past week, but we've had such a busy week.
Yeah.
But, this was a good one, and so until the next time we come on, hopefully we get the Glitch in the Matrix guy to come on. That would be fun.
That would be great.
And until next time,
go out there, shoot guns, and use chainsaws.
And quando omni fluncus moritati, everybody.
See ya.
See ya. Let me stop the stream here.